Rex Cyborg.
Rex.
He doesn't know he's been conscripted.
It'll be Rex. How you guys doing?
Who are you? Who in the world are you?
I'm Rex Tibor with Rex Defense, Rex Reviews LLC, all that fun stuff.
Oh, nice. And what do you do, Rex?
Magic tricks. You make things disappear. That's very far away.
Well, what do you make disappear? I'm so confused.
That thing. Yeah, I usually talk. It's usually for me. I go to cans.
Yeah, people like to ask me what I hunt, and I tell them I hunt paper at long range or steel plates.
Yeah, whatever you want to disappear, man.
That's true.
Well, like at the last class, we had a bunch of dudes smacking the clay pigeons that the bird guys will shoot at. The little
How far?
Like in between 500 and 1,000. We set them up. They're hard to hit.
It's kind of like that fella. Remember we were out in Texas, that guy hit a beer can at 900 yards or 1,000 yards first shot?
That's at every class they shoot at the beer can, yep.
How often does someone hit that first shot?
Man, I'd say every other class will have a first round hit on the beer can.
Who's our guy?
I'd say that let me do a mental assessment real quick. I'd say 7% of shooters can do that after they're all dialed in and true and got all their distance managed properly.
Pretty good. It's approximately 0%
of our guys on a first round. No, a second round hit is a lot better hit because then they got a win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get that correct. That's the trickiest thing. So what's your guidance now? So I've been through this class. Phenomenal. Worth every penny. I think you undercharged. I hope you fixed that a little bit from what you learned. And any RexDefense.com
is where you'll find the website for the training part. And then, of course, we have a YouTube channel, which is Tibor Rex. If you just type in Sniper 101 or Rex Reviews, you'll find it if you type Rex Reviews into a search engine on Google or YouTube. And if you type in Rex Reviews, you'll find us. That's what we do there.
It is the most comprehensive YouTube instructional long-range shooting ever. As a matter of fact, it's the most comprehensive online guide I'm aware of. Now, Rex won't say that, but I'll say it, and I'll stand by it because, I like to argue the facts, just the facts, and
I am
disputed, and I'd like to see your facts.
They call that long-winded sometimes, so I apologize, but I do have filtration mechanisms of being long-winded, because if you're going to have the patience to lay there and actually wait for an enemy target to walk out and shoot it, you're going to have the patience to watch the entire long-winded video series. So if they can't make it through that, then they don't have the style of discipline required to master that.
It's not bad, Rex. It's only like 30 hours.
It's more than 30 hours, but yeah, or maybe it is 30. I don't know. Yeah,
I'm totally guessing.
No, I had a lot of fun the other day, though, man. I was burning it up with the Glock, man. That was fun. That's what, actually, most folks don't know. That's my favorite part, is shooting pistols.
Really?
Yeah.
That's an entirely different skill set. Are you any good? I've never seen you with a pistol.
I mean, I know. Huh? No, for the longest time, it was something. Right now, it's a 219. Yeah, I mean, I hate Glocks, but they shoot every time you pull them off, so that's good.
Am I allowed to say that? That's like blasphemy. I don't know that I hate Glocks. I've never liked them. I think they're too ubiquitous. Everybody's got 15 Glocks. They say Glock this and Glock that, like it parted the Red Sea. I mean, it's just competent. You know what I mean? It's the Toyota Corolla of handguns.
Yeah.
I mean, there you go. There's some character right there.
I mean, when I was a kid, I used to carry big revolvers. Like, that was my carry weapon of choice. You could open carry as a kid back in the day. Nobody would care. And then when I was a young man, I carried like a 1911 for years and Beretta 92 back in them days, and that was cool. And then I worked my way through every gun that didn't work until I finally landed on the stupid Glock. I mean, I got 8K USP for a bunch of years, like 10 years. USP 45.
Oh, there you go.
And a
Gosh,
Mark
some high
23.
quality stuff. That's some SOCOM stuff right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I got the Mark 23 too, which is actually quite a size up. And that's a piece. It's like slamming a bolt door open and closed every time you pull the trigger with that thing. But I ended up on a block. I carried a G27 for a bunch of years, and then I eventually got a Gen 2, Generation 2. Of course, so like I do a lot of traveling in the state where I'm from. You don't have to have any kind of permit to carry a piece concealed. All you have to do is not be a scumbag, and they let you carry whatever. So we have a constitutional carry in my state because we keep them guys in line over there. But
Good friend of mine wrote the constitutional carry law here. And of course,
oh, you got one there too, bro?
I know. Well, people don't understand that that's our current political proposition. You know, we're at a point where you have to fight just to get your base level rights back.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what we are.
Are we allowed to speak freely yet, or are we still in dude? You should see on the back end of the YouTube, the stuff they'll demonetize and the stuff that they call offensive is like some old guy with a mustache polishing a piece of walnut with linseed oil. They're like, oh, this content has been deemed offensive and will be now like restricted on YouTube. That's the one.
Well, these are weasel words. So here, by definition, we have censorship and liberal bias. Why? Let me explain it. 93% plus of people in media are non-Republican, non-conservative, okay? This is a media platform. YouTube, Facebook, it's called social media. And so offense is inherently a subjective term. It is the eye of the beholder. So what is offensive to some far left? That is what is offensive. So he was polishing, I guess stock with Glenwood or linseed oil or whatever. That's offensive to a liberal. Okay, so
yeah,
so
he just killed a tree, bro. He killed a tree.
The most advanced life on Earth, according to a lefty.
You know, we live in tough land, bro. Like you get past all even the legalese. We live in an absolute cuckoo clock. No one's allowed to talk. Everyone thinks that it's illegal to be offensive. Hey, by the way, that's how stuff gets done. Everyone has a brain. They have different ideas. They're supposed to share thoughts, and they'll be offended. That's totally awesome.
They want great.
What's that? Right.
Yes.
Hey, they tried to do that before with like what was that yellow tape or something where they had the free speech zone. Someone on that sign. The free speech is not an area, okay? But yeah, they'll try it once in a while. The problem is like we're so used to being programmed by the media and school and the way that the education system is set up and the way that our brains receive information, that we will not question stuff that gets downloaded into the brain through the high priest class, right? And so when that happens, we just, we are on a whole different operating system, so people will carry out their orders that they are downloaded, and then think about it.
The Milgram experiment, all right? Everyone Google Stanley Milgram with the Milgram experiment. You know about Milgram, essentially, in a nutshell, it establishes that people will follow orders from anyone who appears as if they're acting in an official capacity. All right, you put on a lab coat, someone gives you medical advice, you're far more likely to do it. You wear a blazer or a three-piece suit and you jaywalk, people are 3 times more likely to follow you in jaywalking than if you're wearing slacks. They've done this experiment, if you're wearing some shoes, right, and some casual clothing. They've done this experiment all over the world, same result. Milgram experiment is you have this actor who is under the auspices that they're learning, okay, and they've agreed to an experiment, so it's a lie. The real experimentee is the person administering an electrical shock, and someone in a lab coat is running the experiment. This is a famous experiment. This is the portion. They actually pulled this out in the Nuremberg trials, and they said, there's an agreement to just following orders. they say gas the kids, and you say, well, what's your rank? Major. Okay, I'll do it. Sounds good. Sounds good to me.
That's exactly where I was headed. But yeah, that's exactly how come a first-class, first-world nation, the top of the culture of its state, the top of technology, the unarguable first-world nation did the stuff they did, is because that's the way humans
operate. And isn't it hilarious? The liberal explanation is they need more education. Well, this is the most scientifically advanced nation in the history of the world at that point. They invented jet travel, really even space travel, the V2 rocket. And so, do you need any more education? I think Goebbels and Himmler were PhD doctors. How much more education can you get? The number one, how much further can you go? And so, what it is homogeneity, though. What you don't understand, what a lot of people don't understand, I think you understand, and I've been railing on this, communists and Nazis are both socialists. And socialism is an inherently authoritarian order which seeks to homogenize people. And everyone has homogenization that exists is dead. When people are in the ground, people are equal right here. You equal the playing field when you put them in the dirt. And that's what socialism tries to do to humanity.
Yeah, you've been rant. I've had that multiple times. It goes back to King Nimrod at the Tower of Babel. He created a society where they would shape people into bricks so they could be interchangeable, and you can just like throw them away. God's altar was always built out of uncut stone because each person is unique. And so what society does and what tyrants do is they homogenize people. They make them all completely interchangeable. So they're like Legos. You can take one Lego, throw it in the garbage can, grab another one. It's the same exact Lego.
And it makes it plausible for a central organizer or a central planner. Does that sound familiar, guys? Centralized control over your life, okay? And well, central planner can exchange humans as units. And they can plan with their Lego set, which is society. And that's what socialists and Democrats try to do. Whether they be democratic socialists, whether they be international socialists such as the communists, or national socialists such as the Nazi Party. It doesn't matter. They seem to homogenize. I'm on the helipad, too. We had some volunteers. So Rex was asking earlier, what am I doing these days? Of course, I'm doing my financial practice. Additionally, though, I'm doing Kevin Stitt for Governor. I'm the field director in the Tulsa metro area, and also for Attorney General Mike Hunter. So we had some volunteers that were so hardcore. One of them, he was walking around with a fever for like 4 days, volunteering until it got to the point where she collapsed. And we're here now. And we're like, hey, do you need some medical attention? No, it's nothing. I just got a little, I'll take some Advil. So this was kind of our day.
But it's interesting when you look at the position of Attorney General in general, get it? Attorney General in general. Like, if you control that deal, you can be as corrupt as hell, and that guy's never going to prosecute you.
Oh, guess who's running for governor, right? Our old corrupt Attorney General, Drew Edmondson, for 8 years, the chief law enforcement officer, okay, of the state. We have the #1 incarceration rate in the United States, and this guy designed it and brought in the private prisons, and he's running as a Democrat. He's the imprisoner-in-chief. And, of course, that is the Democratic Party. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton created this crime climate, punishment climate to record numbers of incarcerated Americans, especially minorities. This is designed by Democrats. They went from the 1860s physical plantation to the neoliberal modern welfare state plantation, in which they hold millions of people, sometimes in literal slavery, where they work for pennies on the dollar for their labors in prison. This is all constructed by Democrats, folks.
Well, you know, it's interesting, too, man, is you bring that up. But even beyond that, like, if you're in a position of power and you want to have that, like, absolute, like, coverage over all your criminal activity, if you own the Attorney General, like, let's say I was a corrupt politician that wanted to give suitcases of uranium to the Russians so they could donate to my campaign.
Hypothetically, just totally making this scenario up.
I was in Arkansas, hypothetically, right? And I wanted to do all this criminal stuff. and not get in trouble. Maybe if I owned the Attorney General, that's the key position in which I will never, ever be held accountable for crazy stuff. So the Attorney General being a straight shooter and a good guy who's uncorruptible, unmovable oak tree is incredibly important. And that's a personality-based deal. You got to find a good guy who is the Attorney General, and that's like such a key role. Otherwise, the politicians, they'll buy those guys off. They'll do all kinds of stuff.
So let's deal with Sessions. Well, what do you think about Sessions, Adam? What's going on with Jeff Sessions? I mean, is he that good guy? Is he just administering the law? Is he getting ready to pass on these sealed indictments, thousands of them, or is he just doing nothing? And Trump's done this a couple of times before. Remember when Trump said that the election was rigged before the November 16 election? He kept saying it was rigged, it was rigged, it was rigged. And then you got Barack Obama in his speech, so I was playing all the time, people were talking about the Russian collusion. He says, it's impossible to rig the election. And everyone in the media is going, no, it can't be rigged. They're saying the opposite of Trump did. And a lesser-known instance where he pulled this is, he said that America was incredibly violent after one of the big mass shootings. And it caused the media to make my talking point, our talking point, talking point one time was, we live in the safest time in history. Gun ownership has gone up like this, and violent crime has gone down like this. And so the media, for the first time ever, was reporting that, and it's all because they had to do the opposite of Trump saying, oh wow, too violent. We live in such violent communities, this violence is everywhere, and it's Islamic. So they had to come to the defense. They've received their programming, and they're so scared of this meme. People are getting banned. They've received their programming. It's like written in code, so they can't. Yeah,
they're like little biological android machines. They're made out of meat and blood and all that stuff, but they're programmable android. You just put whatever programming.
We know this. It's called operant conditioning. It goes back to psychology. You have learning and conditioning. Dog, you condition people to reward them for towing the line and saying these rote, trite lines. And then punishing them for standing apart.
Dude, even like when I was formally educated in the university system in the formal sciences, we had I would actually read the textbook, and I thought it was interesting because they would talk about scientific method, right? And they would pretty much engage that on a lot of issues, like they would selective enforcement, right? So like when it's a politically based deal, then they'll really, hammer what they want to do, and then you know how it is. If you apply the scientific method to any of these issues, it's a solution to a lot of that stuff. And it's amazing how the smart guys, a lot of times are bad guys too, but they use that to understand human psychology, and they actually will get folks to be just totally programmable. And that's how they've gotten us to the point where we're at, where everyone's basically at the walking around looking at the ground in their cell phone all day, just getting programmed for labor. That's why they call it television programming. What do you think that means? It's like, what? And not even people will accuse that of being conspiratorial. Read a psychology textbook. Read a biology book, man. It's not like top secret information.
Yeah,
like
I don't even deal in conspiracy. I don't deal in them because they're totally unnecessary. Just deal with the facts that exist objectively that no one even disputes. Just deal with that, and then it's like, hey guys, whatever's going on is going on. I'm just presenting points of data, and you can connect the dots any way you'd like. Because I don't even have to rely on a conspiracy. I just rely on reports. That are made public. A conspiracy isn't even necessary at the point that you have 90% in academia. They're non-concerned. 93%.
Or online at cann-help.com. Is your kitchen looking sad these days? Are you tired of looking at that old, dated bathroom? From rooftops to those unsightly holes in the walls, Complete Contracting has got you covered. Call 405-676-0595 today to schedule an estimate. Once again, that number is 405-676-0595. And remember, Complete Contracting has the contracting expertise for all your renovation and repair needs.
Definition is more like dealing with RICO laws, where people just acting in concert to be conspirators. And if you're looking at it from a legal definition, I think you could make the legal argument that yes, they're conspiring. But as far as coordination goes, it's not even necessary. I don't know that I've seen coordination other than CNN giving Hillary Clinton the debate questions before her debate. Other than them like literally saying whatever the campaign wants them to say. I mean, sure, that stuff's out there. That's literal coordination. But they're coordinating incidentally and sometimes intentionally. There's this thing that Google kept burying from 2008. I think it was with Ezra Klein. It's called Journo-List. Google it. Journo-List. It's a little bit of a pun. So they had 300 to 400 media types, okay? And they were top editors at magazines or television personalities and national publications. And what they said was, how do we make Barack Obama look good and John McCain look bad? How do we cover up this Jeremiah Wright story where Barack Obama's pastor said GD America, and the fact that Barack Obama's mentor was Bill Ayers, head of the Weather Underground, that had literally bombed people, and these were his mentors. How do we bury the story? This was the topic of Journalist. And they said, just call everybody a racist, even if there's no evidence at all. By the time they try to disprove the claim, the election will be over and it doesn't matter. They bring this baseless claim. Have you seen that strategy anywhere? Here's a baseless claim. It's very damning. We call you a bad word without evidence, and then we stack it on you. We bring a bunch of nameless, and we accuse you of something, okay? And so that's what they said, and that's what they did. And this was a literal conspiracy, and it's well documented, Journalist, and no one talks about it. Google kept burying it. I've looked for it every year since 2008, 2009. It's like on the third or fourth page of Google now. It used to be the first thing you'd search for. Do we still have audio? You guys are speechless.
Yes.
Sorry. Here's my soapbox, guys. I just got right on top of it.
We're hearing you on the other side there, Cowboy. We're hearing you. Oh, yeah. We're hearing you and extra. There we go.
So, this thing with society moving this direction, it's so dangerous because they control definitions, and they even control the definition of socialism. It's kind of like whatever they want it to be. And so all these people coming from, I wondered last night, I was watching the news, and something that I rarely do anymore. I'm just really too busy, which is kind of ironic. I need to watch more news, really, at this point, which is odd to hear me saying that because I'd fall asleep with the news on since I was 8 years old, watching the Gaza conflict unfold as I fell asleep or something. But anyway, these refugees coming from Central America through Mexico, thousands of them, right? Everyone's talking about, well, how are they getting money and where they're here? Cool. I'm not personally too interested in that because, it is what it is. There might be some outside influence. There might not. I don't really care. The point is this. Shouldn't liberals be telling these Central Americans, don't come here? America's awful. Every single cop is racist. Only cops can have guns. We've made sure of it because of our anti-Second Amendment operations in liberal havens, and we only want the racists to have guns. So it's a terrible place. Even we, the liberals, are working against your interests, migrants, and it's such an awful nation. We don't have socialized health care. So you should just stop in Mexico or South America where socialized healthcare exists to be taken care of. You would die if you came here. Our healthcare system's a wreck. We don't have socialism yet. We don't have single payer, and because of it, you're much better off staying in Mexico, where a socialist was elected. You have socialist policies. They're going to stamp out racism. Why come here? It's a terrible, terrible place for minorities to live. And President Trump is like literally Hitler, according to liberals. So why in the world would ethnic minorities try to come here unless the liberal narrative is a complete lie.
Yeah, James Yeager had a post. I don't know if you know James Yeager from Tactical Response.
He's awesome.
I
I
think
met
it
him
was
at your
on
seminar.
Instagram, and it was like a 2-second video, and it was, I think, hashtag capitalism, and it said, "How many people in America try to escape on rafts made out of garbage?" That was it. That was the end of the video. I'm like,
Brilliant.
and it's not saying anything bad about people. It's just that there's different systems of organization of how to govern yourselves, which produce different
Right.
fruit. Those
Right.
people
And
are
what the liberal
awesome
do,
people.
they're masters of language. And what they'll do is they'll
Yeah.
conflate what we're talking about, these terrible systems of governance, and they'll try to then make it sound like we're applying it to the people.
Yeah.
No, it's their government in the style of governance. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the same people genetically. Chileans, okay, and Venezuelans. They're essentially genetically identical from similar cultures, really, but governance is different, right?
Yeah.
There's not a huge crisis in Chile because they have capitalist policies, but there's a massive crisis in Venezuela. I want Chileans here. They're of the same race, culture, background, but I don't want Venezuelans because Venezuelans will tend to vote what they've had. I mean, we've seen it. I've discussed it before. You get people that move from the failed economies of the left coast, California, Oregon, Washington State. They move to Texas, where they move Austin, and now Austin's liberal. The people that come from south of the border, 80% of the time, they vote for far leftist policies and support them at a higher rate than other immigrants. This is why I'd limit immigration from certain places based on ideology, not based on race, not based on language or ethnicity. Ideology, that's what it is. That's the difference. It's not the people. And so they'll always change it to say that we are racists or bigots.
Well,
And here's the hilarious thing. They're the
that's a
bigots.
classic move that works good when people are stupid to get them fixated on something like that.
And they're totally the bigots.
With,
I mean, and they're intolerant. Here's the hilarious thing. Try to go to a liberal rally and say, well, you know, I just want to talk about my religion. Let's talk about Jesus Christ for a moment. And can we be inclusive of Jesus Christ right now? I just want to share with you some of my culture, you know, and my religious beliefs. They'll kick you right out or say, you know what, let's be tolerant of conservative ideals. You know, conservatives, there's a lot of violence that's been inflicted upon conservatives in the past year. I mean, you had Congressman Scalise shot and almost murdered by socialists. You've got these Trump supporters being murdered by Bernie supporters, but you don't have Trump supporters, you know, shooting Democratic Congress people. And so I think there needs to be more tolerance of conservative ideas and diversity. Let's have some far right conservatives on the university staff. Let's have them teaching economics and social studies because diversity is our strength. And I've noticed that we're 93% far left. Let's get it to 50-50. Let's move these numbers up, people. Let's get some. No. It's only when the narrative suits them. And it's just like
well, I would like to
yeah.
expand the conversation too in terms of left and right. I think that left and right, even by themselves, the political spectrum is more dynamic. There's two dimensions there.
Absolutely.
That's the X and Y axis. So left and right is fine with me, man. I just don't want everyone bossing me around with whatever they're trying to do. So I'm more concerned with the authoritarian end of the spectrum and then the libertarian end of the spectrum. So,
yes.
For example, a left-wing libertarian or a right-wing libertarian basically will have their idea. They'll share it with you kindly. And if you have a different idea, they'll be like, okay, man, cool. You want to go have a barbecue? Now, on the authoritarian end of the spectrum, a far person on the left will make you do what they want to do, and a person on the far right will want to authoritatively make you do their thing. That's not good because it's supposed to be free country. And so that's where I'm more concerned, even between left and right. I do have my political ideals, which is slightly right of center, probably, but I'm a lot more towards the libertarian end of the spectrum than we currently are. I just don't think we need to be micromanaged, and I don't think the government needs to be my mommy because how can they possibly govern me on the micro scale with, how would they do that? How do they know?
This is one of the lies perpetrated by the left, this whole political scale. So you're absolutely right. Whenever you look at this political continuum, which is a line, it's literally a single dimensional way to look at politics. Well, what exists in one dimension? Like hardly anything. Well, and this is the deal. 2/3 of Americans did not vote in the presidential election in 2016. which had the most money spent on it of any election in human history, and had some of the highest number in regards to turnout ever recorded. Okay, so 2 out of 3 Americans did not vote, and yes, I'm lumping in the elderly and children, but that's still insane. And then you look here on the local level where control really is delineated in Oklahoma, and I ran for state senate in a district of 110,000 people. On average, only 4,000 people vote in the primary election, which decides who's going to be the representative because the Republican wins, 5-1 typically in my district. So effectively, whoever wins the primary and or the runoff, they win the election. So that's, you're looking at less than 4% of people voting, at least inductively here, and far fewer people even know what the issues are and the differences in the candidates. And so why is that? Is exactly what you said, Moto. It's that people want to farm out their responsibility to learn to someone else, someone who looks official, something short, because we're so busy. We're so
Yeah.
productive in America. We're so overwhelmed with our obligations
It's
and
too bad,
making
man.
money.
In all honesty, though, like even to back away from it and get a bird's eye view, in my humble opinion, I think that the society we're in kind of deserves the leadership we got in a lot of ways because it's reflecting our culture, man. If our culture sucks, yeah, man. And so like it sucks about there is a certain amount of collective national responsibility. If the nation as a whole has gotten so far out of whack, we couldn't keep each other in line because we're too busy watching football all day or whatever we're doing, rather than keeping the cities and keeping the culture straight. And that's a failure on the part of the churches too, man. In all honesty,
Huge.
to really keep relevance in the culture with the morality thing. So we kind
Yeah,
of
and
deserve it.
going to the churches, you got too many pastors just teaching straight opinion.
Yeah.
And this
And
isn't
so
about a certain denomination or belief. It's just their opinion. They're going to
you want
read to you from a book, not the
yeah.
Bible, some book they want to read to you about, and then
Yeah.
talk about their pet social issue and back it up with zero scripture or simply manipulate the scripture to back it up.
It's all yeah. You know what it says? Speaking of one-liners out of the book, it says that oh yeah, line by line, verse by verse, here a little, there a little, so that they might fall over, be backwards, be captured and snared and taken away. You know what I mean? The book even admits that if you do it one line at a time, you're hosed. It's like even what was it, Peter? He says our brother Paul writes some things that are very difficult to understand, and those that are unlearned in the law, talking about the Old Testament stuff, the Torah, back in them days, are going to wrestle it to their own destruction. So basically, well, yeah, the whole
It's the
book
basics.
is written by guys that were in that camp, right? So like the main character, all of them were there. So it's just kind of silly. I don't know.
That's what we call Judeo-Christian values when we refer to our moral basis in the West.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, you guys are on the same page. That's
Rex,
cool.
Rex too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because everything Jesus preached about was preaching in a new, or he was renewing what the Father had already said. He was making it simple because the Pharisees and the Sadducees are doing the same thing they're doing now, right? The Pharisees and Sadducees of today leveraged the Word of God, which was meant to, bring us closer to the Father, and they hijacked it to gain like spiritual hierarchy over us so they could be tyrants. And same thing.
And
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's just like normal. It's a loop to loop. It just repeats over and over again. And I kind of think that the path we're on has to kind of actually go through that dead cat bounce phase. I think that the correction mechanism, unfortunately, realistically, and now the reason the three of us guys are still here talking about it is there has to be people witnessing and warning, like, whoa, dude, if you continue to go that direction, this is what's going to happen. Now, are we going to reverse it? I don't know, man.
we're
Like,
gonna try.
uh,
Succeed or die trying. I disagree. I think we're going, and it's a healthy disagreement because we're conservatives. We can simply disagree and go and get a beer afterwards. If we're liberals, we'd have to, kill each other or something.
How dare you disagree with my assessment?
I think that well, kind of like the Antifa guy who had punch fascists on his Twitter, and then he got his head, his skull cracked open by an Antifa fascist yelling "punch fascists," and he believed in the same ideology. That's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, you look back to World War II; it's the story of socialism eating itself. It's the story of left socialism versus right socialism, and the greatest conflict humanity has ever known in terms of cost in human life. And this is what happens when you get a bunch of socialists in the room. They kill a bunch of people. That's what it does. No, no, no. Trump recovery, I think, is profound. He's dragging this country along to great progress, the real kind, economic progress, progress towards your indelible human rights and God given liberties, even with probably a third of the government kicking and screaming. I mean, look at what he's done. Imagine what he can do when he gets rid of all of the, the committers of treason, in the deep state and all of these people that have been opposing the American recovery, which I believe that's going to happen this midterm. We're going to have a red wave, and I'm looking for liberals to make a wager, just a kind little Coca-Cola wager on it. I can't find them anymore. They talk this big talk, and I say, put your money where your mouth is. They don't want to do it. I also say that Trump will be reelected. Okay, I mean, I will bet anyone on that, and then we've got to be disciplined because what they're going to try to do is Charlottesville. So what happened in Charlottesville? You got a bunch of goofy guys. You got all 200 extreme right people that no one agrees with in the country. All 200 of them met at the same time and had tiki torches. And what the media didn't report on is this guy got spooked. His car was being beaten. They had people waving AR-15s at him on the left, people thronging his car and beating on it. He panicked, hit the gas, and this lady, Heather Heyer, was 300 to 400 pounds. She's morbidly obese. She died of a heart attack. She wasn't actually touched by the car, but the media went over it as if she was run over. Just the commotion ended up killing her because she was morbidly obese. And guys. We can't give in to the less provocations. I mean, you have to have just complete lawful self-defense, and even then, I wouldn't normally say this, but you don't have a duty to retreat, but it's tactically advantageous. You win all the battles you don't fight, essentially, and you just don't want to be in a situation where they can goad you because, listen, it's going to be you against at that point. It's going to be you against all the media, and it's going to be our movement against the media. We have to do everything we can because that's the only thing that the left's last resort is violence.
Super important, bro. You're absolutely right. And in all honesty, I value peace to such a high degree. That was the point of the constitutional republic from the beginning, was to maintain a peaceful, loving environment. So peace is the objective of government, and what we created government to protect our freedom to have peaceful lives and raise our kids the ways we want to, and all that stuff, right? All that being said, that's the way I roll. I mean, as well equipped as a guy might be to think you're all like tactical ninja mode and all this kind of stuff, it's not, and that would suck. And nobody wants that deal. Peace. I'm a peace lover, man. I know how to fight and all that stuff, but I would way more prefer peace. But I got, yep.
Yes, you
You know,
have to keep it in line.
the wisdom of the founding fathers, I think, is amazing in how they set up the constitutional republic. Because it's actually pretty darn good still. Even as foobar as we think it's still way by far the best at anything there is. And so I'm a red, white, and blue boy all the way down to the bone. I'll go down in flames with that thing if I have to, protecting it and all that stuff. But in all reality, when I really back up and get a bird's eye assessment of the situation, um, looking at the path and the trajectory, if you will, of the culture and of the morality of this generation, our generation, bro, would we, if this discussion is talking about refining and sharpening and keeping everything on the right path and everything, if we got our way and got everything fixed and the government was run in a just, like a righteous way, like it was back in 1780s, right? Would we in our culture actually deserve that way? And that's my question that I ponder many times. And I almost think that it wouldn't be fair. So I think we kind of deserve what we get, and we got to roll with what we got. And at the same time, that doesn't mean you don't fight for righteousness, and that doesn't mean you disengage from standing for truth and disengage from trying to guide the sheep down the correct path or whatever. But at the same time, a guy's got to be a realist and look at it from a bird's eye view. I think that everyone's got to make their hearts right with the creator, man, because the trajectory's looking kind of rough in the long term. All that being said,
Well,
man,
I'll push back on that a little bit. I would agree with you. I would agree with you completely. 3 to 4 years ago, but there's some data points that are promising, right? Like Generation Z is the most conservative generation
all right, man. All right, you got
since
me there.
World War II, and they're also the most numerous. And you look, they're highly conservative. When I went
to Generation Snowflake, it is so hilarious. I love it, man.
millennials, there's a big problem. My generation, I just about disown it. It's awful. It's right with liberalism. But now, I mean, when I went to high school in Oklahoma, right, it's not considered real left wing. I mean, everybody's talking about how much they love John Kerry and how Bush was a war criminal and everything in Oklahoma. I mean, teachers and students alike. Now, what I'm hearing, because we get some volunteers that have come to my campaign, and even the Kevin Stitt for Governor campaign, they're saying, I mean, you're considered a whack job if you like Hillary, and it's a joke, and you get memed out of the room essentially if you support leftism, and so it's phenomenal. And so they're really our hope. I mean, I think there needs to be a big, how to say it, a transfer of knowledge. If you're older than 20, if you're 25, 30, 40, 50, whatever age, please take someone under 20 under your wings. Under 20, under 22, there's huge hope for them. Teach them how to make money, the principles of capitalism and limited governance.
I think
Teach them about the
bro. Now
the proper role of government.
really close to the target. What we had before was kind of and I do it all the time, is we complain about how it's messed up and how it should be fixed. But the true long-term, solid, concrete solution to the problem, in my opinion, is kind of like what it says there in the book, is that if you guys simply turn away from your wicked ways and get your heart aligned back to the face of the Father and seek his face, that then he will reach down from heaven and he will heal our land. And I think that's the only real solution for the problem long term. We